After Taiwan's high-intensity war drills, Xi Jinping is now flexing air power side by side with Vladimir Putin, sending a clear signal that Beijing has powerful partners in the skies. Chinese and Russian bombers are roaring across Western Pacific skies, turning routine patrols into a very public show of force that Japan, Korea, and Taiwan cannot ignore. Xi and Putin have sent warplanes near Japan, Taiwan, and Korea, flying joint missions that test air defenses and underline how tightly their militaries now coordinate. As Taiwan drills to repel a possible Chinese attack, Beijing is answering with bomber patrols, signaling that it can project power far beyond the Taiwan Strait itself. After Taiwan's blockade drills, is Beijing now signaling real war plans, using joint bomber flights with Russia to rehearse the kind of pressure campaign it might one day unleash? After Taiwan wrapped up 5 days of combat readiness drills, Xi Jinping responded by flexing military might with Vladimir Putin, putting their partnership on vivid display. On June 27th, China and Russia carried out their 11th Joint Strategic Air Patrol over the Pacific, adding another chapter to a pattern of increasingly frequent flights. The mission reportedly lasted 6 hours and covered the Sea of Japan, the East China Sea and the wider Western Pacific, brushing past several sensitive flashpoints. Chinese H-6K bombers flew in formation with Russian Tu-95MS strategic bombers, showcasing how both air forces can now operate side by side over contested waters. Moscow and Beijing insist the patrol is meant to show their ability to uphold regional stability, framing heavy bomber flights as a contribution to peace, not pressure. Russia's defense ministry has stressed that the operation was not aimed at any third country, even as neighbors interpret the move as a pointed reminder of firepower. Footage released by the PLA showed J-10C fighters, Sukhoi 30 MKK jets and YY-20 tankers supporting the patrol, underscoring that this was a full strike package, not just bombers. The same video featured KJ-500A early warning aircraft flying with H-6K bombers, highlighting China's use of radar and command planes to control long-range missions. Russia's Tu-95 strategic bombers were seen flying close to Chinese aircraft, a visual demonstration of just how integrated these joint patrols have now become. The joint patrol came directly after Taiwan's own 5-day combat readiness exercises, which began on June 22 and were clearly aimed at countering Chinese pressure. During those drills, Taiwan deployed tanks and armored vehicles to test how quickly it could respond to Chinese threats, from beach landings to sudden incursions. On June 25, Taipei ran a tabletop drill simulating a Chinese maritime blockade, gaming out how the island would cope if its sea lanes were suddenly squeezed. The scenario imagined Beijing demanding approval for ships sailing to Taiwan, effectively turning normal commercial traffic into a bargaining chip. Taiwanese officials also simulated Chinese forces boarding or seizing ships around the island, rehearsing responses to gray zone tactics short of full invasion. Notably, Beijing still asserts it may use force to bring Taiwan under its control if it deems it necessary, a backdrop that makes every patrol and exercise feel more ominous. As US-China rivalry intensifies, Beijing has built yet another mock US warship in the desert, expanding a bizarre fleet of sand-based targets. Fresh satellite images show a new US-style destroyer replica laid out in Xinjiang's Taklamakan Desert, hundreds of kilometers from any real coastline. Analysts believe this mock warship is designed to test China's anti-ship missile capabilities, giving its forces realistic shapes and sizes to aim at. The structure closely resembles an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer, one of the U.S. Navy's most common and important frontline ships. The feature was first flagged by Joseph Wu of the Taiwan Defense Studies Initiative, who highlighted the destroyer-like outline on commercial imagery. Earlier satellite shots from Ruoqiang showed a mock U.S. carrier and 2 destroyers, suggesting this is only the latest in a series of U.S. ship replicas. Defense analysts have long identified Ruoqiang as a key test site for anti-ship ballistic missiles, where China trials weapons meant to hit moving targets at sea. Other imagery has shown missile strike debris scattered around the mock hulls, evidence that these replicas are being actively used as live-fire targets. The U.S. 7th Fleet, which patrols around Taiwan and across the Western Pacific, relies heavily on Arleigh Burke destroyers for air defense and strike missions. By copying the Arleigh Burke's outline, Beijing appears to be training to hit real U.S. warships at sea, not just generic silhouettes on a radar screen. Militaries around the world build replica targets to test weapons under realistic conditions, allowing them to measure damage patterns and adjust guidance. The US has done something similar, constructing mock Chinese air defense systems on test ranges to practice how to suppress them in a conflict. Experts say Beijing is racing to refine long-range strike options against enemy warships, hoping to keep US carriers and escorts at greater distance. China has also built scale replicas of central Taipei at 2 major training bases, hinting at detailed planning for possible urban operations in Taiwan. One training area reportedly includes mock-ups of Taiwan's presidential office, foreign ministry, and judicial yuan, turning landmarks into practice targets. In 2015, state TV aired footage of PLA troops storming a mock presidential office during live drills, sending a blunt message about Beijing's contingency plans. Beijing has also showcased new anti-ship missiles in recent military parades, underlining that long-range strikes on ships are now central to its strategy.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.